So, what would you say would be the most important qualifications for a property manager?
Well, I think you have to be a good communicator. Yeah, and you have to have good time management. You don't have to know, I think, coming into the business, whatever you know about real estate or the rental market, that is helpful. But you can be an expert in that and have cruddy communication skills and cruddy time management skills, and you're going to sink. The people that are efficient at it and then do really well with it, they have really good time management skills. You got to multitask. You got lots of things going on, and you got to be a good communicator. You got to communicate with people. Properties that we pick up, if we have potential clients calling and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a new property management company. I'm not happy with the one I'm with." The first question is like, why? Why are you leaving? And it's typically not because, the renter has vandalized my property. I mean, that doesn't ever happen. That's very rare. Or they're not collecting rent. It's because of bad communication. Mm-hmm. I've called my agent or I call my property manager and they never call me back. Right. And I'm always asking questions. And it's fair for somebody to go like, what else don't I know what's going on? There's other problems I'm not aware of. So that's typically the reason. Poor communication.
Customer service too, basically.
Yep.
Good customer service.
That's all part of it. Yeah. The good customer service is good communication. So that's what I think is really important. I can take somebody that has those skills and teach them the industry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I agree with you. I've had out-of-state rental properties, and every one of them, after I bought them, I turned over to professional property management services for a lot of reasons. I'm not there. I'm not close. I can't take care of things quickly when things go wrong, and they do. But when you trust your properties to an outsider, if you don't have the communication, you're completely in the dark.
Yep.
I mean, you can't do a drive-by to see what's going on. You're
totally relying on them for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you call me, send pictures, send me an email. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're totally at their mercy.
Right. It's almost like a lifeline to your property, basically. Mm-hmm. And it really is important to have that.
And also the fact that they're in charge of collecting rent. And I know we'll talk about that later, but, who's holding on to that money and where is it and what's the risk there? There might, maybe not, hopefully, but there could be a risk to that money.
Well, there is, and we'll touch on this later, but you mentioned that in California, you need a license to be part of your team, to deal with contracts and all of that. There are places in our country where a license isn't required. And I own property in one particular state, and I can tell you some horror stories where in an unlicensed, unregulated area like the state of Idaho.
Wait a minute, you weren't going to mention that state.
But I did.
Is that part of the United States?
I think they seceded after the election. But I had a bad experience with the property manager who decided that, it's time to retire. And because I'm holding all of these security deposits for the property owners, I'm going to send a letter saying that in 3 weeks we're done. I'll send you your last rent check, but your account's going to be short by the coincidental amount of your security deposit. So I discovered the hard way, calling the authorities saying, hey, what's going on? I went to the Department of Real Estate. They said, sorry, they're unregulated. We can't do anything about it. You can file a lawsuit if you want, but that costs money. My point is that there are some areas where it is unregulated. California is a heavily regulated state, as you well know. To do business here for any reason, everything's regulated, in some cases over-regulated. And there are some consumer protectionisms that are good for people, and the fact that you should be licensed or have to be licensed, I think, is a plus.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think it helps give more credibility to the industry. You have to study to pass an exam, and they just don't hand them out to everybody. And you have to have ongoing education. So no, and there's a higher authority to report to. There's the Department of Real Estate. I mean, everybody that works with us, they're not doing it as a hobby. I mean, that's their livelihood. Right. And if they were to ever lose their license for some reason, or if I were to lose mine, I mean, that would be catastrophic. I mean, that would be over. So anytime over the years I've had people wanting to try to game the system or whatever, hey, can you do this for me? have no problem looking in the eye and say, no, I'm not going to do that. I go, that's a violation. And sorry, you're not worth me losing my license over. Okay. Like bam, right then and there. So, because that's the authority that the commissioner and the Department of Real Estate has. There's all kinds of cruddy things they can do to make your life miserable.
Right.
Exactly.
Similar to real estate